Finally tonight, the second part of arts correspondent Jeffrey Brown's conversation with author Philip Roth.
Philip Roth has been one of this country's leading writers since the 1959 publication of Goodbye Columbus. 10 years later, his bestseller, Portnoy's Complaint, with its hilarious coming-of-age sexuality, earned Roth both praise and outrage, and made him a literary celebrity. In all, he's published 26 novels and other works, and won most every literary award available. His new novel, The Plot Against America, presents an alternate American history, in which Charles Lindbergh becomes president in 1940, the nation remains out of World War II, and the Jews in Roth's own childhood neighborhood of Newark, New Jersey, live in fear of anti-Semitic violence. Roth, now 71, lives a private country life in Connecticut and rarely gives television interviews, but let us come visit recently for a talk about his writing life.
Philip Roth, thank you for letting us come visit.
It's nice to have you.
What is it that you want to do when you start a novel? What are you trying to do?
Get to work.
Get to work.
Get to work. Work. Without a novel, I'm empty. I'm empty and not very happy. So when I get to work on a novel, I begin to do what I'm supposed to do. It's a long process. Usually it takes between 2 and 3 years to write a novel for me. And the first 6, 8, 10 months can be very difficult because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you have. So the work is difficult in the beginning, and it's also difficult in the middle, and it's difficult at the end as well.
Put it in terms of us, your readers. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do for us?
Oh, I'm going to sound very ungracious. Nothing, frankly. I can't worry about the reader, just as the reader can't worry about me. We all have to take care of ourselves. And I don't think about the reader. I think about the book. I think about the sentence. I think about the paragraph. I think about the page. I go over it and over it and over it. The book begins to make its demands. The demands are intellectual, they're imaginative, they're aesthetic.
It's interesting because you're often described as something of a provocateur, sort of throwing out literary bombshells, and you get a lot of reaction to your work.
I'm a very bad judge of how people will respond to my work, how the general reader will respond to a book. And I'm always surprised by the responses that a book elicits. I don't think I'm the only writer who experiences this too. There's a kind of dummy who lives here too, you know, and you don't know what you've done.
Roth lived in London for much of the late 1970s and 80s. Returning home, he began a series of prize-winning books that look at big movements in post-war America through the lives of ordinary people, including Sabbath's Theater, which won a National Book Award, American Pastoral, which earned the Pulitzer Prize, and The Human Stain, winner of the Penn-Faulkner Award. In The Plot Against America, which depicts Roth's own family life in the 1940s, his father says, "What's history? History is everything that happens everywhere, even here in Newark, even here on Summit Avenue, even what happens in this house to an ordinary man."
Yes, I kind of put my words in his mouth there. That's a moment where I push things a bit. History comes into the living room. The large forces that make the world go, they come into our living room, and I like that. I like depicting that.
Many observers have noted this great run of books that you've had over the last, say, 10 years or so. What happened?
What did I eat for breakfast? You mean? I don't know. Maybe it's a consequence of age. But I did feel energetic, and I did feel ambitious, and I did the work.
What was your ambition to do?
To be able to write this kind of book. to be able to broaden the subject, while at the same time keeping it a novel, while at the same time having the subject enacted by people.
And broaden the subject. What is the subject?
When I came back to live in America in 1989 all the time, I felt enormously energized by being home. But also, I realized that I had in front of me a new subject that was an old subject, which was this country. That it was brand new to me in a strange way, yet I knew all about it, because I had been brought up here. So being away for 10 or 12 years produced, I think, a burst of writing energy.
Are you able to look back now over the long arc of your career and sum it up?
I look back just with a little wonder, really. Wonder that I stuck with this thing.
This thing of writing?
Yeah.
And when you look back and when you think about now, do you see a different writer, a better writer, a worse writer?
Well, I like to think a better writer. A different writer, sure. You begin with, or I began certainly, with enormous naivete and rawness. You're very raw when you begin. And I don't think I think I'm only half as naive now. And raw, I'm only raw from the hard work. I'm not raw in the way a young fellow would be raw.
Some years ago, I know you were involved with Eastern European writers at a time when they were a kind of moral voice against a totalitarian society. What do you see as your role, or as the role of a writer in our society?
Your role is to write as well as you can. You're not advancing social causes, as far as I'm concerned. You're not addressing social problems. What you're advancing is, there's only one cause you're advancing. That's the cause of literature, which is one of the great lost human causes. So you do your bit. You do your bit for fiction, for the novel.
Why do you think it's become one of the great lost causes of our time?
My goodness. I don't think in 20 or 25 years people will read these things at all.
Not at all?
Not at all. I think it's inevitable. I think there are other things for people to do, other ways for them to be occupied, other ways for them to be imaginatively engaged that are, I think, probably far more compelling than the novel. So I think the novel's day has come and gone, really.
I would imagine you would think this is a great loss for society.
Yes, I do. There's a lot of brilliance locked up in all those books in the library. There's a lot of human understanding. There's a lot of language. There's a lot of imaginative genius. So yes, it's a great shame.
And what happens for you?
Me?
You.
I want to keep doing it. I'll keep doing it, stubbornly.
Okay, Philip Roth, thank you for letting us come to talk to you.
You're welcome.